One thing I know that definitely puzzles people is the fact that trans activists continue to use the argument that there's no biological advantage for men competing in women's sports. And in this video today, you guys, we're gonna watch a trans activist essentially try this argument on Candace Owens during a Q&A at Georgia Tech. Now, before we jump into this video, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for being here. If you could please really quickly hit that like button for the algorithm, I would greatly appreciate it. And then lastly, this video is sponsored by my good friends over at Fume. Huge shout out to them. We'll talk about them a little bit more in a bit. So, one thing before we jump into this trans activist tries to do sort of a gotcha with Candace Owens, and it basically confuses half the video, but it's definitely still worth unpacking. Let's go ahead and jump on in.
So my question is also about trans people, because it's specifically about trans people competing in sports, because I think everyone here can agree we need to protect women's sports. Recently in Texas, there was a boy who won the girls wrestling state championship. Do you think that he should have been allowed to compete in that division?
I think that a man taking down a woman on a map should warrant a call to the police.
Wonderful.
And should not, of course, be considered a sport.
Because he was actually born female and forced to compete in that division despite being on HRT.
Despite being on HRT. So she thinks she has a big gotcha right here, okay? First of all, when it comes to protecting women's sports, that doesn't mean protecting women from other women in women's sports, essentially. That means protecting women from men in women's sports. So just first of all. But second of all, she also mentions that, got you, because it was actually a woman that's transitioning her appearance to look like a man. And is actually on, as she just said, on testosterone that won. Well, hold on. So now you're just telling us that she cheated? This is the gotcha that we're playing here? Now, one thing I will say, this gotcha isn't really processing with Candace. And look, she's over 8 months pregnant. But I'll also point to this. The way that this girl shaped it, it's pretty reasonable that Candace is just like, oh, this person is being honest and not lying and not trying to play a gotcha and play games. So she doesn't quite pick up on that just yet. But it's also difficult to kind of hear like those little tiny quips that she has when it comes to being in like a room with microphones and speakers. We can hear very clearly right here because that microphone's going straight into our ear. But anyways, we'll continue.
I am so open to transgender people. Like if they want to have their own division, go for it. I literally, in fact, I would love to watch it. I actually would love to watch it. If you are opting in as a man, as a woman, to having a man take you down on a mat, that is totally fine for me. But what is unacceptable is that we have these divisions. This is for women, this is for men, and you have people that are allowing men to compete in these women's divisions and to obviously dominate, because going back to biology, men, of course, are stronger than women. They are always going to be strong.
Facts, major facts, but still at this point, Candace doesn't really know that we have a trickster here. We have a bad faith argument right here. So a girl that's just trying to troll. A girl that's just trying to play a gotcha. But it doesn't really work out. You guys will see.
Stronger and faster than women.
It's like how Leah Thomas went from getting second place in a race as a man to winning the race.
Yeah, it's completely unacceptable, and it's fraudulent, and the people...
Exactly, going from second to first does not happen naturally. Yeah.
And so I think, going from...
Leah Thomas, the swimmer who came in second place in
as a man, that's right, yeah.
Yeah,
and then he just switched his gender and suddenly was dominating.
Went from second to first. As someone who competed in athletics in college and high school myself, no one ever goes from second place to first place.
Okay.
So you can see Candace is now seeing, okay, hold on. What's going on here? This is way different than the beginning of the conversation. Now the girl's just being reckless about being like, exposing herself. Now she's just being sarcastic. Another bad faith argument. So we had the first one, which was, oh, well, got you. It's actually a woman, but she's cheating because she's taking cross-sex hormones and she's on testosterone. That's why she won. And then now we're on the, oh, well, Leah Thomas did second place and then only went up to first place. Is that so? Is that so? We'll find out in just a second. All right, everyone, let's take a few moments to talk about today's sponsor. Cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. I'm not talking about some gimmicky solution that does absolutely nothing. I'm talking about today's sponsor, Fume, and they look at the problem in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong, so instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-nominated device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air, and instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all natural, delicious flavors. You guys get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good, and it's a habit you're free to enjoy that makes replacing your bad habit easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with moving parts and magnets for fidgeting. Giving your fingers a lot to do is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect when I first saw Fume, but I've tried a few flavors, and it's a lot more flavorful than I thought. It feels very fresh. Stopping is something many people put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 100,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating the breakup from bad habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use offer code Klug for 10% off your Journey Pack today. Again, that is tryfume.com. Use offer code Klug to save 10% off your order today. You guys, I'll put a link down in the description below. Let's get back on this video.
Okay, so if you, Leah Thomas was not in second place when he was competing with men.
He absolutely was. If you look at the 2019 Ivy League Championships,
no,
I literally
that is not
look
true.
At the statistics. Ivy League Championships 2019
that is not
men's
true.
division in the 100 free for both the prelims and the finals.
Okay,
she came
let
in
me put it
second.
this way. Let's just maybe there was one race that he came in second place
the
in.
Ivy League Championships
Fine.
is one
Okay,
race.
thumbs up. Riley Gaines, who has spoken about how she competed against Leah Thomas and it was not fair. Leah Thomas suddenly switching your gender, competing against women is not fair. I am open to Leah Thomas.
You're say it's not fair.
Don't ask me a question and then cut me off when I give you the answer. It's just obnoxious. It really is.
Okay, so things are heating up. First of all, we just have another BS talking point right here. This trans activist is just playing games. I mean, the craziest thing that I always see when it comes to whose side, let's say you're independent, like whose side should you be taking in this conversation? And really, if the truth is on your side, you don't need to make up lies. You don't need to trick people into agreeing with you. This girl said she's an athlete. How on earth do you not see the differences between male and female athletes? It just blows my mind because she's talking about second place right here. So she keeps bringing up first to second place. First of all, talking about Ivy League, okay? If you're comparing a single competition to the overall college score, which is what most people talk about, because Leah Thomas, he ended up placing first place in the NCAA. So first place is a lot different than second place in an Ivy League competition. But this person doesn't care that they're comparing apples to oranges because the argument is just supposed to trick people. It's just supposed to confuse people. It's just supposed to be disruptive. But it's not an actual well thought out argument. If you wanted to compare apples to apples, you would say, okay, well, 20 to 21, Leah Thomas was what, ranked as a guy, maybe 89th, if I remember correctly, and then jumping to very first place. Yeah. Anyways, liars are gonna lie just to get you on their side, but when you have the truth on your side, you don't really need to. Things are heating up. Let's move on.
I am open to Leah Thomas and every other trans person having their own category at the Olympics and allowing them to compete. That is absolutely fine, having their own category at high school universities, at high schools, at universities, everywhere across the country and being able to compete. What I am not open to are biological men competing against women. If you want evidence that biological men will always defeat women, look no further than the actual Olympics and look at the time differences as it is when men are competing in a sprint versus women competing in a sprint, when men are competing in a throw versus when women are competing in a throw.
It's so obvious, and it's so shocking that they continue to bring up this argument, even though men have stronger bones, more lung capacity, bigger hands, bigger feet. I mean, it's just everything. It's all different. It's all different. And what Candace is bringing up right here is, yeah, all you have to look at is the records, is the world records, is the Flojo, Florence Joyner, holding a famous world record for the 100-meter dash, wouldn't even qualify her for the Olympic men's competition. So yes, of course there's a major difference. And these people, these trans activists, continue to go with the argument that there's absolutely no difference at all. I mean, the only people falling for this are just the Either people lying to themselves or the dumbest people on the face of the earth. And I'll note really quick that the reason why there's not these separate challenges going on right now is because people that adopt the ideology, gender theory, people that adopt trans ideology believe that trans men are men or trans women are women. So if there was a separate league, that would mean that they're not in fact men or they're not in fact women. They would actively fight against having a separate league. Just blows my mind.
If you don't want to acknowledge biological reality, I want you to lead the trans Olympics. I want you to be the person that establishes the trans events for people. Thank you for your question. There's more people behind you.
Okay. I love that your solution is separate but equal.
Oh,
what? So we already have a what? Your solution is separate but equal? What are you talking about? We already have men and women divisions. So is that separate but equal? Next question.
So just another bad faith argument to wrap things up. Oh, well, separate but equal, huh? What? Perfect response from Candace right there. What are you talking about? It's so absurd. You guys, I wanted to finish this video with just a throwback to a previous video of mine, just really quick. We have a short right here. This moment right here is basically just how these people think. Hey, should transgender athletes be allowed to compete in women's sports? This is that ideology that you're dealing with.
Should transgender athletes be allowed to compete in women's sports?
Yes, 100%. I would just say, look at the science. And, trans women are women, and that's kind of should just be the common understanding.
I love that one. I think one of my shorts editors did that one. It's just fantastic. But that is what they believe. They believe that science is on their side. I don't know what science. I don't know. I don't know what science they think is on their side, but they do believe that they are standing with science. Even after all of the arguments against them, they are still the team of science. Before we wrap up, I know that there's been a lot of Candace Owens this week. If you're wondering why, it's just simply because she's been on fire. We have to highlight this stuff. It's fantastic. You guys, let me know what you thought about this video down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about my commentary down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that bell notification button so you're notified next time I post. I'll catch you guys next time.